Hello students, how are you feeling today? I hope you are doing well and ecstatic so that we can learn better today. Alright, for our lesson today, we are going to practice our writing skill, specifically on writing skill 4.2.2, where you need to spell written work with moderate accuracy by completing at least 6 out of 8 sentences with the given verbs correctly. You're also going to practice your writing skill 4.2.3, where you need to produce a plan or draft of 2 paragraphs or more and modify this appropriately independently by writing a plan of a story following the method given correctly. So are you guys ready? Let's go into our lesson. Alright, so for today's lesson, we are going to learn on how to write a story part 2. Remember we did this, the first part previously. I will link the video down below. And you can check that out if you haven't seen the video. So one thing when writing a story that you need to remember is that you need to use narrative tenses. So what is narrative tenses? Okay, narrative in Malay is called cerita ataupun kisah. Okay, berdasarkan pengalaman sendiri ataupun fiction. Okay, jom baca ni sama-sama. To write stories based in the past, okay, we use narrative tenses. Okay, we use narrative tenses to write stories based in the past. Okay, the most common narrative tenses are the past simple, the past continuous. Okay, I'm going to highlight those. Past simple, past continuous, past perfect simple, and past perfect continuous. Alright, so we use the past simple to talk about the completed action. Completed, okay? Maksudnya, action tu sudah terjadi di masa lepas dan sudah pun berakhir di waktu lepas. Okay? Sebab tu dikata sini completed. Action or state ataupun keadaan in the past. Okay? A series of actions that happened one after the other in the past or to take the action of the story further. Okay. We use past simple to talk about a completed action and a series of action. A series of action ni maksudnya actions yang berlaku one after another. Lepas berlaku kejadian ni berlaku kejadian lain. Okay, macam like berturutan. And then also to take the action of the story further. Okay, when we want to take the action of the story further, we use past simple. Okay, we'll look at the example later. And then we use past continuous to set the scene of the story and to talk about an action that was in progress in the past when another action interrupted it. Okay, bila kita guna past continuous untuk set the scene of the story maksud dia macam untuk ceritakan semula scene. Okay, scene tu macam scene lah, macam situation. Okay, cerita tu. And to talk about an action that was in progress. Okay, cakap tentang kejadian yang tengah terjadi tapi diganggu oleh satu lagi kejadian. Okay, so tengok ni I highlight. Okay, set the scene in the story and to talk about an action that was in progress in the past when another action interrupted it. Ada berapa action kat sini? 2 action. Okay, so if you want to set a scene of the story and you want to talk about an action that is being interrupted by another action, use past continuous. Right. Now next, we use past perfect simple to talk about an action that happened before the time of the narrative or another past action. Okay, we use past perfect simple to talk about an action that happened before the time of the narrative. Maksudnya kejadian yang baru saja berlaku sebelum waktu kamu bercerita tu. Ataupun another past action. Ataupun another action yang dah lepas lah, atau kejadian yang dah lepas. So, we use past perfect simple untuk describe, ceritakan semula kejadian yang baru saja berlaku sebelum kamu bercerita ataupun sebelum kejadian yang sudah berlaku di lepas. Okay, this is quite confusing. Tapi you get into that. Okay, we'll see. We'll do some exercise after this. And then we use the past perfect continuous, okay, to talk about an action that was in progress for some time in the past, which was interrupted by another past action, or which had an effect on a later event in the past. Okay, kita guna past perfect continuous untuk bercakap tentang kejadian yang sedang berlaku. Maksudnya yang sedang berlaku maksudnya dalam progress lah, dia tengah terjadi, tapi in the past. Okay, tapi in the past dan diganggu oleh another action. Okay, ataupun kita bercakap tentang kejadian yang telah berlaku, yang sedang berlaku di lepas, tetapi ada kesan kepada kejadian yang seterusnya, still happening in the past. Okay, jangan confuse. Semua berlaku di lepas. Tak ada yang berlaku di sekarang. Sebab tu kita panggil dia past simple, past continuous, past perfect simple, past perfect continuous. Okay, so I'm going to highlight some words, okay, some keyword to talk about an action that was in progress. Nampak ni, in progress for some time in the past, which was interrupted by another past action. Kejadian yang lepas juga, ataupun an action that was in progress in the past which had an effect on a later event in the past. Okay, so I hope you understand lah. Okay, if you need more explanation, I think I've made a grammar lesson. Okay, you can check that out in my playlist. You can cari lah, ada grammar lesson tentang ni. Okay, now practice. Okay, let's practice what we've learned just now. Okay, complete the sentences with the correct form of the verbs in brackets. Sometimes more than one answer is possible. Okay, ada 8 sentences. Kita kena fill in the blank using the verb given. Tapi, we need to use the right tenses. Past tense ke, past continuous ke, past perfect simple ke, past perfect continuous. How do you know that? Based on the description, based on the situation of the sentence. Okay, right, let's try to do number 1. He stopped running, took the mobile phone out of his pocket and threw it into the river. So, kita patut guna what kind of tense? Past tense? Continuous? Okay, let's look at some clues here. Cuba tengok dalam let's look at other verbs in the sentence. Stopped, this is past simple. Took, this is past simple. Past simple of stop, past simple of took, past simple of take. Yeah. And throw ni, what is the past simple of throw? It is threw. Okay, so let's look at the description. Baca balik. We use past simple to talk about a completed action in the past or a series of action. Nampak tak? Inilah yang dimaksudkan dengan series of action. Action yang bersiri. Maksudnya after one action comes another action and then happen another action. Ada berapa action dekat sini? Ada 3 kan? First dia stop running, second took the mobile phone, and then third threw the phone into the river. So there are 3 actions. Itulah yang dimaksudkan dengan series of action. Okay? Now, number 2. The family sit in the garden when they heard the blast. So this is one action. Sit is one action. And then the blast, they heard the blast is another action. So this shows that the action that happens here was interrupted by another action, which is hearing the blast. Okay, so kita kena guna tense apa? So, untuk one action yang berlaku, yang sedang dalam progress dan being interrupted by another action is past continuous dengan past perfect continuous. So, we can use this both. Okay, so Let's try to write down the answer. The family, okay, past continuous. Past continuous, was sitting. Okay, bila you dengar perkataan continuous, dia mesti akan ada ing. Ing tu indicate a progression. Continuous, berterusan, berlangsungan. Okay? Okay. Past continuous, this is past continuous. And what about past perfect? Okay? If you still remember, this is the form. This is how we write past perfect. Had. Sorry. The verb have. Okay? Tapi in past. Had. Lepas tu ada apa? Been. Kan? Ada perkataan been. Be verb. Had been. Verb. Sitting. Okay. So this is the past perfect continuous. And this is the past continuous. Okay. Clue dia macam ni je, you kena ingat. One action that happened in the past and then interrupted by another action that also happened in the past. Alright. Now, let's move on to number 3. Jane couldn't believe that she make such a dangerous journey on her own. Make. The past simple form of the verb make is made. Okay, tapi sekarang ni kita nak guna tense apa? Past tense or past perfect or past simple, past continuous. Okay, tapi before that, kita tengok dulu ada berapa action dekat situ. How many actions are there? Jane could not believe, okay, this is one action, tidak mempercayai, one action, that she such a dangerous journey. Okay, she make dangerous journey on her own is another action. So, ada 2 action di situ. Which one happens first? Yes, this happened first. She made the dangerous journey happen first before Jane realizing that she did this. Okay. So for this one, we use past perfect simple to talk about an action that happened before another past action. So how do you write past perfect simple? Jane couldn't believe that she, okay, verb to have, okay. Jane couldn't believe that she had made, okay, the past simple for the verb make is made. She had made such a dangerous journey on her own. Okay, now let's move on to number 4. Everyone was exhausted before they run for miles. So how many actions are there? Everyone was exhausted, one action, and then running for miles is another one action. Which one happens first? Which one happens first? Running for miles, and then the later effect is everyone being exhausted. Okay, to talk about one action that's being interrupted by other action, okay, you can use past perfect simple. They had run. Okay, this is the past participle. Okay, I've made a mistake just now when I said this is made is the past simple for the word make, but it's actually not. Made is also the past participle of the word make. So you have to pair the verb to have had with past participle of the verb. Okay, so the past participle for run is run. Okay. Alright, you can also use past perfect continuous for this one. Why? Because this, an action that had an effect on a later event in the past. This is the effect, right? They were exhausted. So, we can also use past perfect continuous. Had been running. Alright, good. Now, let's move on to the next one. She jumped up and chased the thief down the street. How many events are there? She jumped up, one event, and then one action, right? And then chase the thief down the street is another one action. Okay, to know what you need to use is to look at the other verb in the other action. She jumped. Okay, this is a past simple. And right? A series of events, right? She jumped up and chased, just like number 1. Okay, a series of events. The thief down the street. Right, next. It was the perfect location. Palm trees sway gently and the sun, something something shine brightly. How many actions? Palm trees sway gently, one action, and another action is the sun shine brightly. So which tense do we need to use? So this sounds like a narrative, kan? Macam, okay, the first, they introduce the place. It was a perfect location. Okay, and then you nak ceritakan kenapa? What makes it a perfect location? Because palm trees were swaying gently and the sun was shining brightly. Ini kita panggil, ni, this is what we call this, to set the scene of the story. Inilah yang kita panggil nak set the scene of the story. Okay. Palm trees was swaying gently and the sun was shining. Okay, apa maksud set the scene? Set the scene tu maksudnya macam before you mulakan satu cerita, you kena introduce dulu scene tu, keadaan tu, keadaan waktu ketika itu, apa yang terjadi waktu itu. Sebab itulah this sentence is called setting the scene. Faham? Harap you faham lah. Kalau you tak faham, tanya I, okay? Right, number 7. They were getting ready for bed when they something a knock at the door. Here, okay. Kita nak guna tense apa kat sini? They were getting ready for bed when they heard. Yes, past simple. Kenapa kita guna past simple? Sebab kita nak take the action of the story further. Kita nak panjangkan cerita tu. They were getting ready for bed. Okay, mereka tengah bersiap untuk tidur bila mereka terdengar a knock at the door. So this is memanjangkan cerita, kan? So we use past simple to take the action further, to take the story further. Okay, now number 8. Throughout their ordeal ni macam diorang punya kesusahan lah. Throughout their ordeal, they keep calm. So past tense ke, past continuous ke, they kept calm, or they was keeping calm, or they had kept calm, or they had been keeping calm. Which one is the most suitable one here? They kept calm. Okay, simple je ni. A completed action. Okay, a completed action in the past. Dah habis dah, completed dah action dia. Alright, now that is our answer. Okay, write down the answer in your E1. Okay. Okay, now let's do task B. Read the writing task below. Write T for true or F for false for each of the statements that follow. Okay, this is a writing instruction tau. This is a writing instruction. Write a story which begins with this sentence. Okay. Tuliskan cerita yang bermula dengan ayat ini. Everyone was scared to death. Semua orang takut nak mati. Tak adalah takut nak mati, tapi takut gila lah. Everyone was scared to death. 100 words, about 100 words. Sikit je 100 words ni, macam ni je sayang. Sini je. Okay, so the story will involve several people. Betul ke tak? Agak-agaknya. The story will involve several people. Betul lah, several people, beberapa orang. Sebab dia kata everyone. Everyone ni maksudnya ada more than one people, more than one person. So, yes, this is true. It will be about a frightening situation. Yes, it's frightening, menakutkan, scary, right? Scared, because of the word scared here. Okay, ada ni keyword dia, okay? So this is true. Someone must die in the story. Not necessarily, orang just takut gila je. Scared to death ni bukannya takut nak mati, tapi maksudnya macam takut gila. Scared to death. You can begin the story any way you like. Betul ke? Tak boleh kan? Kita kena begin the story using this sentence. Write a story which begins with this sentence. No, false. You can't start the story however you like. And the story will probably have suspense. Yes, sebab benda tu true. Sebab benda ni, cerita ni tentang macam, dia tengok title dia pun kita takut macam suspense, macam something scary. Right, now Let's do task C. Read the example story and circle the correct words. Right. Everyone was scared to death. They were trapped in the darkest cave. Okay. This is actually an essay, a story based on this question. Okay. Based on this writing task question. Right. Let's read it again. Everyone was scared to death. They were trapped in the darkest cave they ever seen. Salah. Tak ada perkataan had. Ini salah ya sebab tak ada perkataan had. So the answer is this one. They had ever seen. Darkest cave that they had ever seen after getting lost on a school trip. The students had screamed or were screaming loudly as pieces of rock fell to the ground. Luckily, no one was or was being injured. The students were screaming loudly as pieces of rock fell to the ground. Okay, pelajar-pelajar tu tengah menjerit sekuat hati selepas batu jatuh ke lantai. Luckily, no one was injured. Toby had never been in such an extreme situation before, but he had been keeping or kept calm. But he had been keeping very calm or kept very calm. But he kept calm. All of a sudden, he remembered or was remembering that he had his mobile phone. All of a sudden, he remembered, one action only kan. He remembered that he had his mobile phone. His teacher had told everyone to leave their phones in the tent, but Toby decided that... Okay, sabar. His teacher had told everyone to leave their phones in the tent. Had told kan? Dah bagi tahu. Okay, teacher dia dah bagi tahu. Okay, everyone to leave their phone in the tent, but Toby had decided to secretly bring his phone. So, which one happens first? Cikgu dia bagi tahu dulu kan? Cikgu dia beritahu everyone to leave their phone, but Toby decided to secretly bring his. So, what happens next is in... Yes, past simple. Right. As quick as lightning, Toby was running or ran to his bag and found the phone. Okay, this is one action only, so past simple. Toby ran to his bag and found the phone. He called his mom and explained the situation. This is a sequence, right? One called his mom and then he explained the situation. Don't worry, she said, rescue teams are already looking for you. Toby smiled and immediately told everyone the good news. Okay, why do we choose told? Because Toby smiled. This is in past simple and immediately told. Okay, so this is basically a sequence of event. Toby smiled at the same time told everyone. Okay, so there you go. That is our answer. All right, task D. Let's read the instruction. Read the model story again and write T for true or F for false. Okay, if you need to read the story again, you can do it there on your own. Okay, pause this video and read that again. But if you don't need to, let's just complete this one. Number 1, the writer hasn't used the given sentence properly. Ya ke? Tak ada lah. Betul lah kan? The given sentence to start the essay with the given sentence correctly. So this one, number 1, is false. The story describes why everyone was scared. Yes, sebab diorang trapped in a cave kan? Betul lah tu. 3, narrative tenses have been used. Betul, narrative tenses. Okay, was, dia past simple, past perfect to everything tu lah. The writer uses spatial phrases to create suspense. Yes, such as this one. Everyone was scared to death. right? Other than that, ni all of a sudden. Okay, all of a sudden. Lagi, apa lagi? This one, as quick as lightning. Okay, special phrases. All right. So number 4, true. The writer used special phrases. Number 5, by the end of the story, the students are completely safe. Ya ke? Completely safe. This is the keyword, completely safe. Okay, how did the story? The story ended by Toby smiling and telling his friends or everyone in the cave the good news that rescuers are coming. But anything could happen, right? Anything could happen. The cave could be filled with water due to heavy rains. The rescuer teams would would probably get lost or something. So they were not completely safe. They were almost safe. So this is false. Story cerita tu tak habis lagi ya tau. Dia orang tak keluar lagi daripada cave tu. They are still in the cave. So not completely but almost safe. Next, let's do task C. Complete the plan for the example story with these sentences. Okay, so basically we need to figure out paragraph 1 ni dia describe apa. Paragraph 2 tadi describe apa. Okay, so describing how the plan is carried out and what happens next. This happened in which paragraph? Happen in Tak apalah, kita KIV dulu. Okay, let's read this one. Let's cari paragraph pertama. Describe the scene and give more details. This is in which paragraph? Apa? KIV dulu. Introduce the main character and a plan of action. Is this the first paragraph? It's okay, KIV, KIV. Okay, bila I say KIV tu maksudnya keep in view. Maksudnya nanti dulu. Okay, kita hold dulu. Okay. D. Use the sentence you were given and say where the story is set. This one, paragraph 1 kan, sebab kita use the sentence you were given because we have to begin the story with the sentence given. So this is paragraph, This is paragraph 1. Okay, so paragraph 1. Okay, now introduce the main character and plan of action. Let's look at the story again. Look at paragraph 2. The students had screamed or were screaming loudly as a piece of rock fell to the ground. Luckily, no one was injured. Toby had never been in such extreme situation before, but he kept very calm. So the second paragraph looks like it is this one, B, describing the scene and giving more details, right? They describe scene tu, scene keadaan mereka waktu itu. So this one is paragraph 2. Okay, what about the third one? The third one, all of a sudden, okay, he remembered that he had his mobile phone. His teacher had told everyone to leave their phones in the tent, but Toby decided to secretly bring his. Okay, this paragraph sounds like it is introducing the main character and a plan of action. Who are the main character? Toby. And then also it describes the plan of action. What was the plan of action? Him remembering he had his mobile phone and taking the mobile phone. Alright, so this one is paragraph 3. Alright, what about the last one? So this is obviously paragraph 4 lah kan? So paragraph 4 is describing how the plan is carried out and what happens next. So how did the plan was carried out? Toby ran to his bag and found the phone and called his mom and explained everything. This is the plan how it was carried out. Then what happens next? Rescue team. Mom said rescue teams are already looking for you, blah blah blah, and he told everyone about it. Okay, this is quite a cliffhanger lah sebab we still don't know what happened to them, but that is what makes it interesting. Now let's do task F. Match 1 until 6 with A until F to make sentences using some of the useful expressions. So what are the useful expressions? This one. Creating suspense. Okay, to create suspense, you can use these expressions. At that point, during the minutes, hours, or days that followed, all of a sudden, as quick as lightning, as fast as he could, he'd never been in such an extreme situation. Without thinking, there was no sign of, he thought of a plan. To make things worse, they were just about to give up when blah blah blah. So these are some of the useful expressions that you can use to make your story suspenseful, right? Okay, now we have to match this. Okay, as quick as lightning. Yes, as quick as lightning, she ran to the car. Without, without, without what? Without what? Without, okay, KIV. From that point, from that point, from that point, from that time, yeah, from that time on, because probably it's talking about place or time because ada perkataan from ni kan. Okay, from that time on, they knew they had only each other. There was no sign. There was no sign of a rescue team. Then she thought of a plan. Thought of a plan that would save them. At that thinking, at that point, kan? At that point, the ambulance turned up. So without thinking, he went to the injured man. Okay, so there you go. Now, finally, the time for you to write your own story. Tapi at the end of this lesson, I do not expect you to write your own story. I will create another, classwork for you to submit your story, your completed story. But before 3 p.m. today, I only expect to see your plan, the plan of your story, okay? Macam draft lah, tak perlu complete pun. Tapi kalau you nak hantar yang completed one, is okay. Okay, I welcome it. Tapi I will create another classwork for you to send your completed story, okay? Alright, so let's look at the exam close-up box. Okay, ni nanti kot nanti. Let's read this one first. Exam task. Your English teacher has asked you to write a story, okay? You write a story. Story must begin with this sentence. Okay, begin, okay? Mulakan story kamu dengan sentence ni. Nobody knew where they were. Tak tahu. Okay, tak ada siapa pun tahu kat mana mereka waktu tu. Okay, about 100 words. 100 words ni macam tadilah sample essay tadi. So, let's read this one. Reviewing your writing. When you have finished your story, it's important to read it and check it carefully. Okay, bila dah tulis habis, baca balik dan semak semula. Does the story make sense? Make sense tak? Does it have a beginning, middle or ending? Okay, permulaan, pertengahan dan pengakhiran. Have you used the correct narrative tenses? Narrative tenses tu apa tadi? Past tense, past simple, past perfect simple, past perfect continuous. Yang tadi mula-mula tadi tu. Have you used the correct narrative tenses? Betul tak? Check semula. And remember to leave yourself enough time in exam to check your story before you finish. Okay? So that is all lah. Okay? If you nak submit a completed essay before 3 p.m, you can go ahead. But if you need more time to complete your essay, you can just submit the plan. Okay? Plan sahaja. Maksudnya draft. You punya, apa kita panggil tu? You punya outline of your story tu. Okay, first what happened, second what happened. Dalam bullet point pun tak apa. Alright, tapi in your E1, you need to write down the answer for task A. Okay, task A. Write down the sentence and then underline the answer. Okay, this is task A. Ni jawapan dia. Okay, and then task apa Task F. Okay. Write down the sentence. Number 1, what's the sentence? As quick as lightning, she ran to the car. Okay. Just write down the sentence. Okay. Sambungkan sentence tu. Okay. So task A dengan task F and also the exam task here. Okay. Tiga ni you kena buat dalam E1. You need to have these 3 in your E1 workbook. Alright. So that is all for our class today. Thank you for your participation. I hope you guys enjoy this lesson and I'll see you guys again next time. Thank you. Bye bye. Happy holiday.